In response to the murder of George Floyd, we've seen an incredible rise in activism across the country in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. To some white people, especially the ones still waiting on their copy of White Fragility to come in the mail, why isn't it here yet? This level of protesting may seem new, but it's certainly not the first time people have organized to respond to racial injustice. I asked Mike Brown to take a look at how these methods make change happen.
Turn on any news channel and you'll hear the condescending language used to describe the black movement in America.
Violence,
anarchy,
riots,
looting,
chaos.
Black Lives Matter and these other domestic terror groups.
These are violent people.
Destroy, damage, arson.
Time out.
Because Do the Right Thing feels relevant as ever, why is everyone just focused on riots? To find out what's actually happening on the streets, I talked to Patrice Cullors, who co-founded Black Lives Matter.
When they call us terrorists, it's way more about their projection and has nothing to do with us and our leadership. I cannot tell you how many times we have gone to protests and everything is great. We're chanting, we're passionate, we're rageful, we're crying, we're loving on each other.
Yeah, because I think that our people, we always make joyful noise, peaceful protest, joyful noise.
Yes.
But to some people, they don't get that it's joyful.
They don't.
They just hear the noise part of it. So we're out here making a joyful noise, and then a group of uninvited gym teachers show up to our party, and it turns into this.
The police show up and they escalate all the energy. They start bullying, they start tasing people, they start tear gassing people, they show up in riot gear.
Well, you know what they say, dress for the riot you want. Yes, police are instigating a lot of this violence, but protesters are also justifiably angry and taking action. Just the idea of riots, you know? It's not the first move for protesting, right?
Well, I don't call them riots, I call them uprisings, are pretty much the last resort.
Okay, hold on, let me write that down, the uprisings. Look at the PR genius at work, the uprisings, okay.
Really what you're seeing is years and years of a community having done all the right things. They went and talked to their council member, they went and talked to their mayor, they've asked for all the reforms, and they've seen the reforms don't work.
So when reforms don't work, you have to protest. Who's the expert on this? Reverend Barber II. He's a pastor, and he's about that action.
I've been arrested 13 times, but I'm nonviolent, and I believe in nonviolence. Because some people they think peace is the absence of noise and not the presence of justice. They want you to have a nice parade. You don't get to tell me, I got this, will you please just give me my rights and stop killing me? And you don't get to say that.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that. There's no decimal level on First Amendment rights.
Reverend Barber says that if the media wants to cover this violence, then they also need to cover this violence.
And America has to be real careful with who she calls violent. Because when you deny health care, that's violent, because people die. When you deny living wages and 700 people die a day from poverty, that's violence.
Okay, you're preaching now.
You undermine voting rights, have mercy, Jesus, that folk died for. And then because you suppress the vote, people get elected who then protect violent police departments. That's violent. My job is to say to America, justice is the absolute deterrent for riots and for social unrest.
And to get to justice, we need to fix the system. Activist Kimberly Jones, who went viral last month, explains the problem facing Black Americans using white people's favorite capitalist family pastime, Monopoly.
And for 400 rounds of playing Monopoly, I didn't allow you to have any money. I didn't allow you to have anything on the board. I didn't allow for you to have anything. And then we played another 50 rounds of Monopoly, and everything that you gained and you earned while you were playing that round of Monopoly was taken from you. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Listen, you just woke a lot of people up. Some of us are still napping. For one, I will never be able to look at Monopoly the same way again, ever.
Sorry.
I will never trust that white man in a monocle and that little mustache. I will not trust it. I will not.
You shouldn't trust him.
I shouldn't trust it.
As the game is, I don't think that it is winnable. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have to create a new board.
And creating a new game board is something we've seen work throughout history. It's even considered patriotic.
American history started with a riot. We would describe it that way today, the Boston Tea Party.
No taxation without representation.
Yeah. Like, we learned this from y'all. We thought this was safe. This is what we're supposed to do. We're using the same patriotic tactics across the U.S. today, and surprise, those strategies still work.
This conversation about defunding the police, we're winning. We are actually winning. So we have the opportunity at every single level, from our local to our state to our national level, to divest out of the ways in which Black people have largely been harmed.
We accomplished a lot in just 5 weeks, but there is so much more to come, and it's gonna take everyone, especially you white people.
Racism is not a Black problem that white people need to empathize with. It's a white problem they created that they need to fix. We need accomplices. An accomplice is somebody who actually is willing to risk their own comfort in order for liberation of Black people in this nation.
How do we start building power?
We need to have Black folks who are able to take elected office. We need Black folks who are able to not just be the entertainers, but are in control of entertainment. When I'm talking about building power, I'm just simply talking about the ability for us to determine our own destinies. And right now, we don't have that.
And as we take control of our destinies, we need to remember that fighting for equality is being on the right side of democracy.
When people are protesting and crying out and mourning in the street, what they're literally saying is, we still love this country enough to believe change is possible.
So as we head out into the street, let's all remember, always do the uprising thing.
If you liked this video, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments below. And if you didn't like this video, I'm sure you've already left a comment. Thank you so much.